So I wanted to talk about something I've been exploring over the years, and it's been this slow realization for me that when I have a curiosity or I have some interest that I want to explore, and I think it's guiding me in a certain direction, to realize that the outcome isn't necessarily that important because it's probably going to be different than what I think. And that oftentimes we have information for the next step, and sometimes that's enough. Maybe always that's enough. I remember one time I felt drawn to go to Mexico, but I really felt clear I didn't want to explore. I kind of wanted to just find a way to land somewhere for a couple months. And so I did all this research and I set up this 2-month work exchange in Sayulita, Mexico. And I felt really good about it. So I get there. I start working at the hostel. I worked there for a week. Then I got food poisoning. I left for a week to recover at my friend's house who lived about an hour away. And during that time I got fired. And it was the first time I've ever been fired from a job. They just replaced me with some other traveler who came through. And I had to totally re-envision, on the spot, my trip to Mexico. So for some people, that's totally not a big deal. But for me, it just kind of freaked me out. And so I ended up having a completely different 2 months in Mexico than I expected, in such beautiful ways that I couldn't have anticipated. And I ended up finding a different work exchange in this other little island that was really cool for 3 weeks. And at the end of that 3 weeks, I felt really comfortable to go and explore for the next month and a half, which I didn't feel when I first was thinking about it. And, I bring it up because it wasn't a mistake for me to go to that hostel. If anything, that was what enabled me to get to Mexico in the first place. Because I wouldn't have gone if I was just I'm just going to go to Mexico and wing it. Then I wasn't in the mood to do that. But that hostel it was the first step, but it wasn't where I was supposed to be the whole time. And I keep seeing examples of that happen for my life and others, where sometimes I get caught up in, well, what if it doesn't work out? And then it's if I feel clear about my next step, then that's kind of all I need. That's all I need to know right now, because it may not work out, but more likely it's going to work out, but just not in the way that I expect. So that's been a way that's felt really good to explore. And it also releases a ton of pressure on yourself. When you start something and someone asks you, well, what if it doesn't work out? And it's well, that's okay, because right now I'm clear on the next step, and then I'll get more information about the next step at some other point.